Hello everyone, today I am coming to you with my January wrap-up. I got my notes, got thoughts on these books, and I want to share them with you, so let's get started. This month I read 5 books: Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, Spiderwick Chronicles, Dealing with Dragons, The Fifth Wave, and Just One Day. So the first book that I read was Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore, and if you don't know, Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore is about this guy who loses his job, and he finds a new one at this bookstore. And it's not at all, things really weird, strange characters coming in and out, hardly anybody buys anything, and it is not at all what I expected this book to be about. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well written. I liked the narrator a lot. He was pretty funny. And I also enjoyed the title character, Mr. Penumbra's, himself. So I thought he was a lot like Yoda, and I enjoy Star Wars quite a lot. So I really liked him. And there's a lot of, because the main character was like a web designer type person, and he really knew how to handle all the codes and stuff. I don't really understand that sort of thing, so some of the techie stuff went over my head, but it was still interesting to read. I also really enjoyed the side characters, the girl from Google and the best friend. They were very interesting, and I never knew what they were going to say or what was going to happen next, and it was pretty fun. Overall, it was just really good, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it. So the next book that I read was The Spiderwick Chronicles. I saw this movie when I was 13, and the reason that I saw that movie was because Freddie Highmore was in it. I had a humongous crush on Freddie Highmore. And I remember I liked the movie, but not enough to check out the books. So when I saw the whole collection of the series in one book at the library, I was like, hey, I should check this out. So I liked it a lot. It just, it contained all the books in the series, and they were pretty short, so it was easy to get through. And I liked it a lot. It was just about these kids, the Grace family, and how they find out that their house is kind of like there's all these crazy fairies. There's little goblins and little house elves, and there's an ogre out there trying to get them, and it's madness. They just go through trying to protect their house and each other, and it was really cool. I love the relationship between the siblings, and I really liked learning about fairies because I really enjoy fairies, and it was really cool. There's also illustrations in the books, and I thought those were pretty awesome. I always love illustrations of books, so that was just really fun. It was cool to the whole thing was just a really fun read, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. The next book that I read this month was Dealing with Dragons, and I wasn't sure if I was really gonna like it that much, but it was about this Princess Cimarron, and she's so different because she doesn't like the typical princessy stuff, the manners, the dancing, the embroidery and whatnot, and that stereotype of girls oh, it's so boring. Maybe it is boring. I don't know. I've never really done it, but I hate when stories are if you're gonna be feminine, then that's just so bad and boring, and you shouldn't be feminine. And I don't know. That little trope bugs me. But as the story goes on, Cimarron decides to leave her kingdom and goes and offers herself to the dragons as a helper. And that was the coolest part for me, was the dragons, because in these types of stories, dragons are usually the bad guys, and we don't really get to see how they live and what they do. And it was just really, that was the best thing, seeing what goes on with the dragons, how they work. And I liked that Cimarron became friends with her dragon, and then she developed a friendship with another princess that had been captured, and overall it was pretty interesting. And this is the first in a series, so I'm kinda intrigued to continue it, but I don't know. I might come back to the series, I might not. But overall it was pretty interesting. Sometimes I thought it dragged in places, but it was still pretty good. I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. The next book that I read was The Fifth Wave, and The Fifth Wave. That was crazy. I heard about this book from Heather over at Bookables. She's always talking about it, and I was curious. And I never really have read a lot of sci-fi. This was actually the first sci-fi book that I've read, and it just sucked me in immediately. It's about aliens coming down to Earth, but not in the way you'd expect it, and it's just, I love the way it was written. I loved Cassie. I loved her and Evan. I liked the idea of multiple point of views, which is what was in this book, but sometimes the multiple point of views kind of threw me off. Like, one second we'd be with Cassie, and then we'd switch over to some other kid, and I'm like, who are you? Because they didn't really specify who it was at first, so I'm sitting there just like, I don't know what's going on. But I thought there's a lot of action, which was pretty interesting, and it's just like, it's really cool how the aliens have just how they got in there and how they're messing with the humans, and I'm just sitting there like, and if I understand correctly, this is going to be like a trilogy, so I need to know, when's the next one coming out? Can someone tell me? Because I need to get my hands on it, and I need to find out how these kids, like, survive. I want to know if they're going to make it out okay. So, yes, The Fifth Wave gave that a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. Loved it, and I need the sequel now. So, the last book that I read this month was Just One Day. I heard about this book, like I mentioned before, on Ariel Bassette's channel when she was doing her reading year in review video, and it sounded really cool, and I liked it a lot. Basically, what it's about is this girl, Allison, is on a trip in Europe, and she's going to go to college in the fall, and she's kind of just, like, feeling kind of stuck or whatever with her life, and then she meets this guy, and they go to Paris with each other for the day, and she feels like they connected, but then things, like, don't turn out how she hoped, and then she's just, like, dealing with the effects of that for, like, an entire year, and it's just seeing her go through that journey and walking along with her. I felt like I was right by her side, and I really liked Allison, and it was cool to watch her grow, and I loved that a lot, and I really liked the being in Europe stuff, and yeah, it was really awesome. I gave it, I don't think I rated it, but I really, really enjoyed it, and when I found out that there was a companion novel just 1 year, I was like, I need the companion novel, so that is going to be one of the things that I read, this month, in February, and I cannot wait to read it, because I'm sitting here, oh my gosh, I need to know, and also, I just really liked Gayle Forman's writing, and I put down in my to-be-read list a bunch of books by her, because I just want to read everything by her, and yep, that's all the books that I read this month. It was a pretty busy month. Now the college just started. I'm not having a lot of time to read, which is kind of sad, but I'm still trying to cram it in there. My February TBR is going to be coming up soon, so I hope you stick around for that. And that is all. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.